And Tal, if you can check on your end that you see it actually streaming. I'm gonna turn off waiting room as well.
Okay, notifications coming in from everywhere. Okay, so we're on. Okay, welcome back to Rubbing Elbows Live. This week we're on with Craig Strong, the strongest agent in Toluca Lake and surrounding areas and all over. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, John.
We've got Lior, our co-host, and whoever else people can be joining as we just chat on here. Let's start with our first question. Lior, you want to throw a first question?
Yeah. So Craig, I did a little bit of reading up on your history, but why don't you share with us your story? How did you even get involved into real estate?
Long story, but I'll make it short. So I originally was in a family business in New York. We manufactured bulletproof vests, and my brother and I were the fourth generation there. So I thought that was going to be my career. So my dad ended up selling that in the mid '90s, and my stepfather was a real estate attorney. So it kind of my next interest was in real estate. So I started doing real estate in Manhattan, in New York City. That's where I'm from. So I was doing that for a bit, and then I thought, why am I staying in New York? I might as well go someplace nice. So I decided to come out to California. Never been here. Moved out here in '97, and I bought my first house in '99. And the agent that I had, I was like, if this guy's making money, I know I can kill it. If this guy's a top producer, I know I can kill it. And I'm like, I'm getting into real estate. So in 2000, I started doing real estate out in the Valley in Los Angeles.
So when you got started,
that's a similar story to what another guest said to us. Is like, we bought a house, and they're like, if this guy's making money, I can do way better. And he didn't want to share with us who that was.
Yeah.
The greatest stories always begin with that, right?
Exactly.
So when you did get started, can you tell us a little bit of maybe the struggles, and even take it as far as, if you remember your first deal, how'd you get your first deal?
It's funny. Back then when I started, people didn't have the personalized for sale signs. So if you were in, like, I started at Prudential in Sherman Oaks, and that was the John Arrow division of Prudential. And so any listing that came out of that office had the same for sale signs everywhere. So if someone drove by a house, they wanted to see it, they would have to call that number on the sign, and that number came to the main office. So it wasn't until Keller Williams came around that people actually had personalized signs. So no one was really doing floor time back then. So I didn't really know. Someone told me what floor time was, because I was I had the back cubicle by the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm not making any money back here. I got to figure something out. And I'm like, what's floor time? So when they told me what floor time was, I'm like, and no one's doing it? It's like, not really. So I just started doing floor time, and I didn't tell anybody, because I just started getting a whole bunch of business from it. Everyone just thought that I was out there networking, and I'm like, I was getting it all from floor time. So my first deal came from a friend of mine for $399. But then my next deal was for like $1.4 million from floor time. And then my third deal was for 2.1 from floor time. They're like, how are you getting all this business? I'm like, I'm just networking out there doing my thing. But I was killing it on the floor. That was the best. And then Keller Williams ruined that. So it was over after that.
That's great. That's a great strategy. And that's a lot. That was a big ticket sales for back then.
I know. It was amazing. It was amazing. I loved it. I was just getting it. And it just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think I made $250 my first year from the floor.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. That's great. Let's see. I had a question in regards to what keeps you going, like the thrill of the deal, helping people money, being competitive, having the dominance, whatever. What keeps you going?
It's all of it. I mean, you're doing it at the beginning because you want to obviously feed your family, and it's a living, and it's just something you just start doing. And then after you've been doing it for 20 years, it just becomes just that. I've met so many amazing people. Some of my best friends I've met through real estate transactions. And what's nice now is not only are they still using me, but now I find properties for their kids. And it's been exciting just watching my friends' families grow up, and then I take the next generation and find them properties. That's nice. It's always nice to be competitive. It's always fun beating others. You still get a little, it's just, it gives you a little something when you win those. It's not that big a deal anymore, but it is still fun. And then there's some deals that are just great. There's, nothing wrong with hitting singles all day long, couple doubles, triples, things like that, whatever, home run here and there. So it's always nice. I think all of it. And then what's nice is when you've been doing it for so long and you build a certain reputation, you get a certain amount of respect, and you get where people that are also at high levels of what they're doing, and they call you up and ask for your advice. It's always nice to know that you feel like an equal to someone that is extremely intelligent, also does amazing business, and they respect what you're telling them. So all of it's kind of, it all goes together, and it feels good.
Nice. I certainly remember at one point you were everywhere. I mean, like on menus, at one point, right, Michelle, he was like everywhere. And I remember sitting down with Michelle having lunch, and she's like, oh yeah, that guy, Craig's friends with him. Oh, this celebrity, Craig's like best friends with them. We don't have to name them. This person, he knows Craig. My cousin, you and my cousin Mark somehow are like best friends from the East Coast.
Yeah.
It's just, you're everywhere.
Yeah, that's fun. It's good the only problem with that is when people come over and they start talking to you and you don't remember how you know them, and you're trying to ask questions. So until they finally tell you the house, you're like, oh yeah, now I remember it. Now I know. Got it. Just need an address. So,
yeah. So obviously you're very social, and networking is a big part of your business. With COVID, a lot of that has been affected. So how has that affected your business, and what kind of adjustments have you made to kind of get around that?
When it first hit, and the sky was falling and you couldn't get toilet paper and everyone was freaking out, everything in escrow everything was just falling out. It's like you couldn't there was one deal I actually kept together. I renegotiated it from like 5.2 down to 4.8. And then he still, in the end, wasn't going to buy it. I got him another like 150 grand off, even in the last minute. So aside from doing things like that, which you either renegotiate or it fell out, and most of them were just falling out, I really thought we were back into 2008 again, like everything was just going to go. But then after like 6 weeks, all of a sudden people are like, wow, you can get toilet paper. You can actually get stuff. We're not all like in dire straits where you can't get food or anything and you're locked in your home. People just started coming back up and having a better conversation, understanding where we are today. So it actually has all worked out, because there's people now that are looking to change, where they're living for different reasons. And I don't know, I didn't really have to, I love the fact that we're not doing open houses right now. I love it. I wanted to break from it. I feel like I've been doing open houses for 20 years on Saturdays and Sundays, and it's exhausting. And so it's nice to actually have that break. I know we'll get back to it again eventually, but it's nice that I can actually go play golf on a Sunday now. So that's nice.
I've got a question for you regarding what can our network of viewers, new agents, agents that have been around that are looking to expand their rise in, level up their business. What can you share for them to be able to take away something, some sort of tip, advice, something you can say simple as, change this or focus on that, something that they can walk away with that would be helpful?
It's tough. As a new agent, it's really tough right now. It's tough just because there's so much competition out there, and it's tough because it's hard to network with people right now. But with every changing market, new agents will emerge from that. So if you look at the people that were the main players before 2008, and then you look to see who the players were coming into 2012 on, you'll see a huge change, a huge swing of who was dominating before and then who was dominating after. So now we have another changing market coming up. So what's going to happen here, I don't know exactly, but it's going to be challenging for new agents. They got to figure it out. I can't give them one thing to do here, except, you know, if you're going to, if this is what you really want to do, then stick it out and get through it. But it could take a few years. I don't know, but you have to just stick it out and figure out how to pay for your own marketing if you're not making any money.
Yeah.
So speaking of the new emerging market and everything, where do you see the market, you know, short term and maybe a little bit more long term over the next year or so?
It's tough. You know, it's tough. It's like back in 2008, it's like, we know it's not going to zero, you know, so, but where are we going? You know, commercial is getting crushed right now. So where's that going to go? Where does that leave residential? What's the ripple effect of, you know, people that have lost their jobs? Are they going to get new jobs? Are they going to figure something else out? Are they going to leave the state? You know, what's going to happen in this election? What's going to happen with this, you know, with COVID? It's like, there's so many variables out there that it's so hard to predict. But we do have low interest rates, and we have people that don't know how long they're going to have to be with their kids or work from home. So they're looking to find a different place to do that where they're more comfortable. So you get a lot of people that are looking to upgrade their home. And there's also these other homes that it's cheaper to buy than it is to rent. So why not buy with the low interest rates? So it's really tough. I'd be interested to hear what, I mean, everyone's going to have a different opinion on this. So I think after the election and getting into next year and seeing what's going to happen, are we going to get something that's going to help cure this thing? Like, who knows? I can't even predict right now, except for just do it day to day, you know, and take care of what people need today and go from there.
Yeah. Do we want to, or can we talk about the Bob Hope sale? What can you share with us? Why don't you tell us about that sale for the people that don't know?
So fortunately, that was a quick sale, 2.5 years, and it was tough. You know, it's funny because I live in Toluca Lake, and that's like the iconic property to get, and I was disappointed that I wasn't even in the running at first, but then fortunately it didn't work out with the first agent, and then I was in the running for the second time to get it, and up against, I think, you know, a bunch of other agents. So it was nice. It was funny. I was in the parking lot with John Arrow because I brought him in with me to the meeting, and I was trying to, you know, I was like, all right, here's what I need you to do. Here's what you're going to say. Here's how you're going to start it. And then I'm going to do this, and then you're going to do that. And he's like, whoa. He's like, I'm just here as your sidekick. I'm here with you. You know, I'm just hanging out there. So you do your thing. I'm just going to hang out on the side. I'm like, John, I need more than that. He's like, that's all you're getting. I'm like, all right, we'll figure it out. Let's just go in. We'll figure it all out. And it was actually a great meeting, and it worked out well. It was just a tough sale because, you know, there's not a lot of homes that are selling between 15 and 20 million at that time in Toluca Lake. There still isn't, but we haven't gotten to this new market where all these other celebrities and big homes have been bought and redone. And so it'll be interesting to see where Toluca Lake goes down the road. But the Bob Hope sale was interesting. It was great showing it every time. It was such a great property. And I met some pretty cool celebrities that wanted to come see it. And some of them saw it 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, this is it. They're buying it. 5.2 acres. You know, they make so much dough on every movie they do. There's nothing, just buy it and hold it, you know? So, yeah. But they ended up going to the right people, and they did right by it. They restored it. They're holding on to it just like they did in the Palm Springs property. So I'm glad they got it. Because it's great for the neighborhood that it wasn't torn down and, you know, put 6 to 8 or 10 homes on that land. So it's, you know, it maintained itself. And what I love is, I love that no matter what, I was always the one that sold the Bob Hope estate, so I always feel like
that's right. That's right.
So
when you brought in, you know, John Arrow, was the goal there to just collaborate and have that power, you know, that power with you to be able to get the listing? And with that said, do you suggest for newer agents when they have a property, let's say in Toluca Lake, where it's your specialty, should they reach out to someone like you to collaborate and maybe help bring power to the deal?
Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. What I don't get is, and look, everyone can do what they want to do. You know, everyone can choose whatever agent they want, but it's like, I sell a lot of stuff off market also. And I always see agents, when I see buyers working with agents that are out of area, I'm like, all right, you're only going to see what's on market for the most part. You're not going to see, right? You're not going to get anything that's off market. So I don't know why agents that are from, you're selling someone's house for $5 million, wherever in the hills or something, and now you're coming and looking in this area. Why would you not just say, Craig, why don't we split these people? Or I got a listing coming up. I'm going on an appointment. Most likely, if it's a decent house, I'm going on that same appointment too. So you're better off getting me before I get the call, which actually happened to me a couple of years ago. Somebody called, I went on an appointment, and then an agent called me up and said, hey, I'm going on an appointment. Would you go with me? And he gave me the address. And I said, look, sorry, I already went on that appointment, but keep me in mind in the future, because that was the right thing to do. Because if I didn't get that call, I would have went with them, and then we would have split it. So, half of something's always better than all of nothing, but there's people out there that still think all of nothing's better. So they'll learn one way or another. But anyway, yes, I've had other people call me and say, hey, will you do this with me or work on this buyer with me, whatever. And I do that all day long. So.
Yeah. I actually had a question from someone. I'm going to let her ask that question when we open it up regarding choosing a brokerage. But before we get to that, as far as staying on top of your social media, flyers, whatever, some agents do the Zillow Premier, some agents do this, that, the other. What are the things that you choose to invest your time in?
I have someone, one of my assistants, Sasha, she handles all my social media, because it's a lot, you can't do everything. But people have a lot of time in their hands, they can do it. So for me, I let her handle it. So we want our page to look a certain way. You want it to appear a certain way. So when people go on and, thinking about hiring you, they can see your properties, how you lay things out, and they want to be part of that, because obviously when you're selling all these homes and you're getting good numbers from them, they want to see how you do it and be part of it. I don't really do this. I've done everything. I've tried the Zillow stuff. I've tried realtor.com. I've tried all these different lead generating things or whatever. If you're talking about that, either I just don't respond correctly, or I just have bad luck with it. I know people that have had good luck with it, just like people that had good luck door knocking. I just don't either. But in terms of social media, if you want, go to my page, and see if you like it. And you can always email me, and I'll put you in touch with Sasha, and you can hire her. She works for other people too, so she's expensive. I say that because then maybe she'll reduce my rate if she gets more people. So
you like to choose expensive assistants. I got that. No. There's a pattern.
So where do you see real estate, for agents going in terms of technology? How do you see that affecting us in the next couple of years?
I always feel no matter how much we've added tech to our industry, people still, they like to have face-to-face time. Now we have to have masks on, but they still like to have face-to-face time. It's like to know who they're choosing to sell their home, to represent their home, and how you do it. They also, you still have buyers that, the photos are great or the video is great, but they still got to come see the place, So if you want to try and hide that it's next to an apartment building, they're going to find out pretty quickly. So, there's only so much you can do. People still need to come see the home, and people do like to have FaceTime. I don't do lock boxes because I feel like I need to know who's coming into the house, because sometimes agents don't know the area. And then it's always nice to say, you mind if I just add something here, whatever. So I'm going to help the other agent out anyway. He obviously doesn't know what he's talking about. So it's always good to be there. And I've had many times when I've met the clients, and they met their agent, and they end up calling me and saying, can we use you instead? You seem to be more knowledgeable about the area. I'm not trying to take anybody's client by any means, but I'm not going to say no. So it happens.
Yeah, my coach told me early on, technology is not going to replace the agent, but the agent that embraces technology will replace the agent, and that's really where we're going, where it's powering the business instead of replacing it.
Yep.
So are you guys doing anything different now in terms of your listings due to COVID, with with obviously the lack of open houses and things like that? Are you doing anything new due to COVID to help kind of highlight the properties that you guys are listing?
And I know we do some virtual stuff, there's things like that, or there's times for my clients, I'll just go to the property first, do some video, and I'll just get them on FaceTime or something like that. So there's a lot of that you end up doing, which you have to do before. But other than that, whatever tools are out there that your company uses, you utilize that. And but at the end of the day, it's how do you still get in front of people? You have a lot of people that don't want the postcards anymore, and they don't want the mailers because they don't want to touch anything. So, you're dealing with that too. You got to be sensitive to what people are getting, on your drop-offs or the mail or whatever, because a lot of them are just like, they keep, when you get emails saying, please, take me off that list. So you got to be sensitive to that, which I get. So again, I don't even know what the tools are that my company uses. I know my assistants do, so they do it. I'm just out there meeting people and doing what I do best, so.
Yeah. I think we should open it up to questions because I saw a couple of hands come up. Hey, there's a familiar face there.
A whole bunch of familiar faces.
Yeah, a lot of familiar faces.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and allow you to unmute yourself. If you have a question, just go ahead, unmute yourself, introduce yourself, and ask your question.
Hi, I'll go first. My name is Kelly, and thank you guys for this panel. And Craig, it's a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much for answering all these questions. And thanks, Chuck, for telling me about this. So, Craig, I am new into the, into real estate. I barely just got my license right before COVID hit. And so I've been interviewing a bunch of different brokerages, and I'm trying to figure out where to go, like how much to pay for this and caps and like training. And it's like so overwhelming. And really, I just don't know, do I go into teams? Do I have a mentor? Like, what do I do? So like, do you have any advice as to like what a newcomer should do? Like, should I get on a team? Should I have a mentor? What do I do?
I was just saying before, it's pretty tough to be starting right now. So you got to do what you feel most comfortable with. You got to, meet with these companies, meet with these teams, meet with these mentors, and what are they going to do for you? Aside from you giving them your first 3 deals or whatever split, what are they offering you? Like, how are they going to help your business during this time? It's not like, oh, I'm going to give you open houses. You get to sit all these open houses for me, because that doesn't exist right now. So aside from training, what training are they going to give you right now? Because you're not really out there doing anything right now. So what is it they're going to train you to do? Are they going to train you to start doing cold calls, start going after expireds and canceled, start going like all these other people are doing? Like, so what is it they're offering you? That, otherwise you're just going to be spinning your wheels and wasting your time. I know some of these companies have good educational, programs. So there's nothing wrong with that, to take some of these classes. But then what? Again, what are they going to do for you right now? And I think that's a big question, because it's not the way it was, which is easy to answer. I'd be curious to hear what they would do for you. So let me know what they promise, because I don't know what they can promise right now. So that would be interesting. That would be interesting to see what education that someone can give to earn your 3 deals, So that's a tough one. But then you look at the companies that are out there. Which one do you feel, of the companies, I guess, when you're interviewing these people, who do you feel most comfortable with, and what company are they under, and what does that company offer? So it's kind of twofold. But right now, you got time on your hands. So start meeting everybody, start interviewing as much as you can until you feel like you click with somebody.
Yeah, that's really good advice, Kelly. Thank you for that question. The only thing I would add is when you're doing your research, look for the right partnerships also, right? Third-party partners like lenders, escrow, title. Those are all very important to your success as a new agent. They're the ones that are going to push you, especially if you're hungry and you're going to go out there and, shake hands, kiss babies, maybe rub elbows instead of shake hands now in COVID world. But at the end of the day, they're the ones that are going to keep highlighting you and helping you with all the other things around, because you're building a business and you're going to be a one-man show right now. So you want to make sure that you have those partners with you.
Sweet. Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
I would also throw my 2 cents in here. Is the bigger the brokerage is, the less time they're going to have to hold your hand. So I think maybe now would be a good time to go for the smaller, brokerage. Like there's like Sync brokerage. We had we had the principal of Sync with us a couple of weeks ago. I'm sure they're always looking for new agents. There's a lot of mom and pop, like small brokerages that can really like sit and hold your hand and teach you like how disclosures work, how this works, how that works. But besides all of the, besides all of the stuff you can learn online, like definitely small brokerages.
Yeah, or well-established teams within larger brokerages, but don't
Chuck,
be independent.
yeah, Chuck, it sounds like you're recruiting there. Is that what that was?
I'm definitely not recruiting. There's no room for any more women in this office.
All right. Only silver foxes, Chuck. That's it.
Not even silver fire. There's no room.
Available, dude. I'm available.
Right. Do we have any other questions? Anybody else want to use this platform to ask their question?
I think Michelle's contemplating a question. I'm hearing something.
This should be good.
Go ahead, Michelle.
Let's unmute her.
That's impossible.
She can unmute herself.
I mean, muting her is impossible. Unmuting her.
That's impossible.
Muting her is impossible.
Looks like you're trying. Okay.
Sorry, we were having technical difficulties. Hi.
Hello.
Ooh. What do you think is going to happen with the foreclosure market?
Like I don't know if you were paying attention to what I was saying earlier, Michelle.
Yeah, I was. I was paying attention.
So I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where this is going to go. I didn't see this even happening this close to this whole COVID breaking out, that all of a sudden real estate was going to take off. That was unpredictable, that this quickly things were just going to start flying off the shelf. So in terms of the foreclosures, I mean, I don't know. I don't know where we're going with that. So I think in this area, I think it'd be tough to see right now. But, again, we have to see what the ripple effect is from all the layoffs and everything that happened. Which people are getting their jobs back, or are they finding other jobs, or how does this whole thing going to work? So
yeah, so maybe like in 12 to 18 months-ish, we'll have more of a better.
I have a question for you. Hi. What do you think of right now? Interest rates are at like an all-time low, but what do you think they're going to be at? Like, do you think the election's going to affect that? Do you think 6 months, 9 months, a year? What's your thought on that?
Yeah, I think we need to see what happens after the election. I think that's going to determine a lot. So, but right now, I mean, even if we change hands after the election, it doesn't mean like, oh, we just went from 2.5 to 4.5. That's not going to happen. But I do think we'll start seeing effects as we start moving forward. So again, I don't want to predict anything. This is being videotaped, and all of a sudden someone sent something back to me and said, hey, you said whatever. So I could easily just say, I'm not sure, but we'll see what happens. Yeah, I think somewhere in about a year, I think you'll really start seeing where we're at,
It's a good point. You were saying a lot of the stuff was unpredictable to where it's at now. Mm-hmm. But with the foreclosure market, I mean, there's 630,000 scheduled foreclosures. Let's say half of them somehow get relief, half of them get loan mod or whatever. The other half are going to have to be dealing with some sort of a short sale,
or unless they get something that says, hey, because of COVID, we're giving you a 6-month extension. That's what I mean. I mean, who knows what they applied for and what happens, That could happen too. Like, we can't evict you for 6 months, so we can't foreclose on you. We can foreclose on you, but I just think we have to see what happens,
And it won't be the same. It won't be the same story as 2008, because the banks have learned a lot. And right. Even if there is going to be a foreclosure market, it's not going to be the same kind of foreclosure market we experienced before. Right. I also think it might be a shorter one. But, with regards to rates, I can tell you, obviously coming from that space, that Fannie and Freddie are going to inflate rates in September. It's not going to be a huge inflation, and they're already kind of padding ahead of time for that. But rates are still going to be lower than they've ever been, or near the all-time lows, even if they go up half a point right now. So it's definitely a window that everybody needs to take advantage of. It's a room for motivation for everybody that was on the fence. So definitely keep pushing on that. But yeah,
I have a question. Like, a lot of people ask that question, what's going to happen with foreclosures? What is the intention behind that question? Like, we're not worried, are we? I mean, there's foreclosures, there's more business, right?
Yeah, I think people want to buy at the bottom, and they want to buy at the top. And if the foreclosures are coming, I'm going to hold off a little bit until that happens. We always have those buyers that are, oh, it's going to keep going lower and lower and lower, and then it bounces up. And when we're at a place where we are today, it's like, oh, your foreclosures are coming. Maybe I'll wait. You know what I mean? So we never catch the top and the bottom, but
Yeah.
I think they'll just be like, oh, I should probably wait then. I mean, I do think inventory will pick up. I think if nothing else, you'll see in the new year that inventory will start picking up. I think people start realizing, maybe it is a good time to sell right now. Not a lot of competition. I can get a certain number for it. I can go rent or I can do something else, but I do think inventory is going to start picking up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm more concerned, like you were saying earlier, about the commercial. There's so much commercial just sitting there empty. It's hard for them to unload it. It's hard for them, to unload it. They definitely can't lease it. I think a lot of the commercial stuff is eventually going to get torn down and rebuilt as multifamily residential. I think that might be a way out.
Or listen, you just never know. It could be a new service or something else that gets invented, and all of a sudden they're looking where they were paying $1 a foot, now they're getting it for 20 cents a foot. Now they can start their company up, and it's, who knows what's going to happen,
Yeah.
I mean, after 2008, that whole thing, all of a sudden we had Uber came out and all these other things started coming out, all these new businesses started coming out. So who knows what will happen from this, we'll see.
Which, by the way, I don't know if it's a rumor or not. I'm pretty sure it's true, but Uber and Lyft are not operating in California as of this morning.
Oh, as of this morning?
So I hear. I'm going to research it as soon as we get off. I just got a notification from a source. I know they were going through a lawsuit with California for the whole employment thing, so looks like that had some effect on it.
I'm going to need a ride home, by the way.
All right. Any final questions before we open it up for our win for the week? So start thinking about your wins for the week, by the way. Any final questions?
I have one more question. What's that top agent juice you're drinking? What is that? What is that green top agent juice? Creation. Oh, you want a juice cleanse?
No, but I did lose 30 pounds, so something's working.
What's your secret?
Not that I was so heavy before. Stress. There's a secret.
All right, who's gonna? Yeah, I was waiting for the next question. How do you lose 30 pounds? All right.
Stress yourself
out.
Anyone else?
The wins of the week. Everybody familiar with the wins of the week?
The win of the week. So the win of the week is you get to share something that you consider is a win for you. It doesn't have to be business. It could be personal. We just like to finish on a high note, on a positive note. So anybody that has a win for the week, please share. I actually will kick it off just to give you guys an idea, but we just finished testing out a pilot. We're going to be outsourcing to a company in Mexico that I have ownership in. And basically what we're going to be doing is now offering a service to realtors that don't have enough of a team that is going to be calling your entire database and open house database and basically feeding back the interested low-hanging fruit back to the realtor. We're going to be obviously working on the lending side, getting them pre-qualified, but trying to get those serious buyers back to you so that we don't miss opportunities, because we all know that we sometimes get too busy and we forget to do the most important thing, which is to follow up. So we're going to try to solve that problem for some realtors.
That's great. I like that.
Chuck, what's your win for the week? You always got something exciting.
Win for this week is I've got 2 closings happening today and tomorrow. I'm very grateful for that. And looking forward to 3 more next week.
There you go.
Just
all right.
lining them up,
Yes.
Good job.
Yeah, I would say my win is, well, one, closing 12 deals this month is nice. Thank you. But there was one in particular where this woman, we had our house in escrow and then it fell out and went back in, and the house is just deteriorated, just lack of maintenance. And they did all these inspections and she was just dizzy from it. She really thought that it was going to fall out again, or they were going to ask for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They asked for very little. And she's like, so wait a minute, that's all I'm giving is that, and we're done? I go, this is it, and we're done. And it's always nice when you see someone tear up just out of happiness that she's actually at that place where she's selling her home. It went to the right people. She's been there for a long time. It didn't ask for a crazy number. She feels really good about it. It's closing today, and it was just nice to see her that excited where someone gets just teary.
I love that. It makes us stop and realize that there are families on the other end of what we always think is just a transaction. Couple years ago, I changed it in my office where we do loans, but we don't call them loans anymore. We call them families, and just putting that reminder in our head every day that every single one of the deals we work on is a family, and what we're here to do is obviously serve these families. So that's awesome. And 12 deals in 1 month. 80% of realtors don't do that in a lifetime. So that's awesome. Good job.
Thank you.
Any other wins for the week?
Any other wins?
I work, I have a 9 to 5, and it's commission and hourly, but I got the highest commission so far that I've done ever working with this company, and I'm so excited. So I'm saving all that I can now so that I can go full time with real estate once I pick a brokerage and I can, so I'm not struggling. But yeah, so that's my win.
Nice.
Good job, Kelly. Nice.
Awesome. Kelly's a hard worker, guys. I just want you to know if anybody is looking to hire someone on their team or whatever, she's a hard worker, and she really knows a lot of different industries, right? In the car industry, like websites, search engine optimization, like she really knows a lot of different layers. So something to consider. Any other wins? No other wins? No other wins. We got to wrap it up because people got to get back to work.
Right.
So they can get some wins for next week. Well, anyways, Craig, I'll take this opportunity and moment to thank you for taking the time. It doesn't go unnoticed. We know that you're super busy, obviously 12 closings this month. So the fact that you take the time to come and share your story and let us pick your brain, thank you very much for that. Everybody else, thank you guys for joining again. We'll be here next week. Actually, Chuck, you want to tell everybody what we have coming up next week? Maybe they can start sharing it with friends.
Yeah, next week we've got a gentleman by the name of Daniel Tenbaum. He's one of the Housing Authority of LA. He's one of the commissioners. So he's the guy in charge of the people in charge of the people. He's one of the bigwigs. He's going to be talking to us about the fund that they have of $270 million that City of LA is going to start buying up old apartment buildings, old hotels, motels, and he's going to share with us how to submit your offers, how to put those together, what the parameters are, and things like that. So definitely tune in for that if you want to start selling some apartment buildings to the City of LA.
Craig, any final words?
Chuck, you owe me 2 deals for doing this today.
Just 2?
It's only these 2. 2 good ones.
I was going to do 4. Who's how you to negotiate, Michelle?
Exactly. 2 is good.
I'm happy to do a deal with you anytime. It's an honor to work with you always.
Yes.
And by the way, Craig and everyone, whoever has off-market stuff that they need to get rid of, unload, send them my way or send them to Michelle or Stacy or Liron. But send them to me first because hello. And and thank you everybody for joining. And we'll see you guys next week. Thank you again so much. Shout out to everybody. Uncle Bobby, Haley, Mike, Michelle, Liron from Israel, Julie Newman. Thank you so much. L. Jones, everyone who joined. Thank you. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.